Have you heard the news? The recession of 2020. Is it coming? Is it legit? Well, let's get into it. So, we know that the last 10 years have been an incredible stock market run. Literally a 10-year run that has never been seen in the history of the stock market. So it's been good. It's been amazing. And we know also that recessions, little dips in the economy, are also part of the economic cycle. Probably what people don't know is that it is not, obviously when the mortgage crisis happened, that was because there was an issue that happened, but mostly recessions just happen as part of the economic cycle. It is not always when there was a big problem. So we know that it is going to happen, right? There is going to be a dip. We can't go up forever. It's just a matter of when. And the question is, when is it going to be? And this is not the $1 million question. It is literally the multi-trillion-dollar question. And if someone actually knew exactly when the market would turn either up or down, they would already be sipping lemonade on their private island, because they would have no need to be an expert. They would have no need to get paid to show their expertise and talk on the news or whatever. Because they already got it figured out and they do it for themselves. So the answer is no one knows. No one knows. And there's a lot of great guesses. For example, right now the stock market is historically very, very high compared to the economic output of the country. And sometimes that's a great indicator. But does that mean that next year there will be a recession? Who knows? Does it mean that it'll keep going up for 5 years? We don't know. Also, experts, literally 7-8 years ago, when the stock market started coming up again, there were people that are saying, the stock market cannot continue to grow. There's been a couple good years, it's going to drop back down. And if you would have listened to those experts, 6-7 years ago, you would have missed out on the opportunity to literally double, triple your money in the stock market. So nobody knows when it is going to happen. But there are things that we could do to prepare. We can't predict, but we can try to prepare for when the next dip is going to happen. So let's get into 3 things that you can do to prepare yourself, regardless of when it happens, for a recession or a small dip in the economy. So right now the economy is good. People are spending loads of money on cars, on new things, new houses all the time. And for the economy, that is wonderful. But as individuals, it is important to remember that maybe the economy won't always be this good. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I don't want to say, it's not going to be better. All I'm saying is we have to prepare now. We have to save now. We have to do the things. Saving and investing is not going to get easier in a recession. If only it's going to get harder. It's not going to be terrible. I'm not going to say it's going to be terrible for you or for anyone. But it's probably not going to be easier. You have to start now to start saving. Start investing. Doing those habits of personal finance that you should do. It's not rocket science. It's the things that we know that we should do. Just starting now when times are good. So the second thing that we can do to help prepare for a recession is not try to time the market. So if, for example, if you are living off of investment returns and that kind of things, you are putting yourself up to a lot of risk. If your livelihood, what you feed your family with, is based on the market and how it performs. So first principle of investing is invest money that you're not going to need for a while. You have to have an emergency fund of cash so that if you need cash, that goes towards it. You don't have to touch your investments. Because like I said, over time, the stock market's going to go up. But what it is going to do tomorrow, the next year, we don't know. And if something happens in your personal life where you have to draw out of your investments when the market is at its lowest, that is the most expensive draw that you will ever take. So you have to plan your finances accordingly so that you can play the long game. You're going to win in the long term if you could play the long game, right? And that only happens when your personal life is set up so that you can ride out the waves. The waves are going to happen, but you have to be able to ride it out. And that happens by having enough cash reserves to ride it out and only investing the money that you don't need for a few years at least, that you're saving for retirement, that is going to sit and be able to grow for a long time. The third thing that we definitely have to mention is that, of course, when the stock market dips a little bit, often with that, employment rates also dip as well. So it is very important when times are good to educate yourself, to get valuable skills, so that when times maybe aren't as good, you have the skills that companies are looking for to get them through those tough times, so that you become even more valuable and they wouldn't even think about letting you go because you're such a valuable part of their organization. And I think about my own employees, how the ones that are truly valuable, especially in the hard times, we want to keep them. We do not want to let them go because they provide so much value for the organization. So right now, when times are good, make sure, go learn a new skill. Go try to expand your business. Go do the things now to prepare yourself for maybe the not so good times in the future. And maybe those not so good times won't come. Maybe it'll always be wonderful, but at least you'll have done those things and you'll be better off for it. So start now. Like I said before, I do not want to be a Debbie Downer. That's not the point of this video at all, is to scare you into saving more. All I'm saying is that it is your responsibility for your life, and for my own life, it is my responsibility to make sure that myself, my business, my family is taken care of, regardless of what the economy is doing. I want to be prepared. I don't want to have to stress when something happens in the market or with anything else. I want to know that I'm going to be okay, my business is going to be okay, and my family is going to be okay. And that only happens by taking the necessary steps now to prepare for later. That is how it happens in business, in life, in your health, in your relationships, doing the steps now, the hard things now to build the foundation. Whether it's in your relationship with your spouse, in your business, you have to have a strong foundation to build everything else on, so that when there is a dip in anything, that you have that foundation to go rely on, that you will be okay, that you'll be able to get that with no issues. And some people thrive during recessions, during dips, because they did the hard work in the good times. They prepared accordingly. When everyone else was struggling to get by, they were able to thrive and really set themselves apart. So this is your opportunity to really make a difference. Prepare yourself for whatever comes. And again, thank you for joining me this week, and I will see you in the next video.